Rogues are World of Warcraft's premier melee damage dealer, and especially effective in PvP. They have access to a wide range of specials that depend on their constantly refilling pool of energy. Unlike other classes, such as the ranged hunter, rogues must be in close to attack. The primary advantage rogues have is their ability to stealth. Unless the rogue is very close, and in a 180-degree arc in front of them or much lower level, players are unable to see them. Rogues can only wear leather or cloth armor, are unable to use shields, and can only wield one-handed weapons, daggers, swords, maces, fist weapons, and axes. They can dual-wield one-handed weapons. Rogues acquire the passive ability to detect traps, which can be very valuable in PvP situations against a hunter, or in dungeons with traps, such as Ice Crown Citadel instance. Rogues are best suited for players who like to sneak up on enemies and dish out large amounts of burst damage. In Warcraft, orcs, and humans, it is a rank you can achieve. Background: rogues possess a wide range of skills that allow them to accomplish feats from disarming traps, to finding secret doors, to smacking a magic item until it works. They are decent in a fight, and if they can strike quickly or unseen, or are flanking an enemy with the help of a thoughtful ally, they can be truly deadly. Of course, they also excel at stealth. The rogues of Azeroth are the masters of subterfuge, skilled and cunning adversaries of those who dare not look into the shadows to see what lurks there. Roguery is a profession for those who seek the adventures of stalking in silent forests, dimly lit halls, and heavily guarded strongholds. Using trickery in combat, and able to vanish at the slightest distraction, the rogue is a welcome addition to any group of adventurers. Ideal spies, deadly to those they can catch unaware, rogues have no problem finding a place in the world. Deadly masters of stealth, rogues are the whispers in shadowy corners, and the hooded figures crossing dark fields. Skilled with daggers and the art of silent death, these vagabonds and bandits skulk about Azeroth seeking targets and profit. A member of almost any race can learn the tricks necessary to become a skilled rogue. Still, for the Tauren and Draenei, such a profession is an alien concept, and therefore rare, if not non-existent, among those peoples. Rogues can be found among all races on Azeroth. Whether they are diplomats, spies, thieves, scoundrels, entertainers, or simply adventurers, you can find them plying just about any trade from Mount Yuhal to Ratchet. For as long as there were dark alleys and needs for dark services, there have been rogues, and thus they are one of the oldest professions in Azeroth. Rogues are a diverse class, and they are typically made up from the dregs of society. Cutthroats, pirates, robbers, and lowlifes. The only code rogues live by is the contract, and their word is only as good as the money their services are bought for. The diverse aspects of their trade requires rogues to be well versed in lockpicking, toxicology, rudimentary alchemy, and brawling. In combat, rogues rely on the element of surprise and tactics, which are regarded by most as vile and cowardly. They are rarely seen entering a fight without weapons laced in poisons and ample supplies of everything from bombs to elixirs in their backpacks. Their attacks concentrate on weak points in the body in an attempt to finish fights brutally and quickly. Rogues play prominent roles in every aspect of society. They will rarely be written into history books, because their involvements will be largely unknown to the common person, but they are always there, greatly affecting the flow of events from the shadows. From the high contract assassin hired in secret by respected noblemen, to the lowly street mugger, rogues are the ones called upon when maintaining the status quo requires a questionable solution, and by fulfilling it, they are branded as outcasts by the very society that calls upon their service. In Azeroth, several rogues are free agents, though most prefer to join a guild for safety and ease of employment. Ravenholt and the Syndicate are examples. Other recognized rogue organizations include the Shattered Hand, the Deathstalkers, and She-7. Races. The rogue class can be played by the following races: Dwarf, Gnome, Human, Night Elf, Worgen, Banteran Blood Elf, Forsaken, Goblin, Orc, Troll. Tauren and Draenei are the only races that do not have rogues, because they believe their methods dishonorable. It is also difficult to remain stealthy with hoofs, though this does not appear to be an issue for satyrs. However, in the game files, both Draenei and Tauren have stealthing animations, and as such, Arador and Broken have such motions. Some people believe the reason of this is only because of the Orb of Deception item and /or GM command testing. It may also have to do with the hunter ability available to Drene and Tauren, camouflage. Weapons. Although rogues excel at melee combat, they may only learn to use 5 types of melee weapons: daggers, fist weapons, one-handed maces, one-handed swords, and one-handed axes. A rogue's most fundamental abilities, such as Sinister Strike and Mutilate, are instant attacks which inflict damage based on the weapon damage of the rogue's main hand weapon. Rogues therefore find it desirable to use a weapon with the best average damage to maximize their DPS. The common rogue prefers a slow weapon in the main hand and a fast weapon in the offhand. Some rogues prefer fast weapons in both hands in order to apply more poison, but the final gain from using a fast main hand is debated since weapon enchantments, such as rogue poisons, usually have a fixed system for proccing, CPROC, poisons, and normalization. That, plus the extra damage from the special attacks performed with a slow main hand, and the normal damage itself, implies that there is little or nothing to win with choosing a fast main hand when attempting to produce more damage. Although having a fast main hand may increase the amount of physical damage you do in a shorter period of time, the bonus does little for DPS. Finally, whether a rogue is using a fast main hand or a slow main hand, it is taken as common knowledge among rogues that the O should always be a fast weapon. This is because the offhand, unlike the main hand, does not have any crucial duty when performing abilities, thus its role consists nearly entirely of applying poisons. The only exception where a slow offhand is preferable is when using a few abilities which contribute more from slow weapons and from fast, like Killing Spree and Mutilate. Mechanics. Stealth. Stealth is the first major class ability a rogue can get. They have the ability to stealth and become essentially invisible to their level and lower while moving at slower speed. Stealth rogues are detectable at close range, though will remain stealthed and appear translucent. Be aware that higher-level characters and mobs can more easily see through stealth. Many rogue abilities require stealth and others require being behind the target, which is often achievable, while solo, only in stealth. Other rogue abilities, notably Sprint and Distract, interact well with stealth. Some actions, like lockpicking, will break stealth. Stealth opens up a range of tactics and roles for rogues. Groups often rely on a rogue's stealth ability to scout dungeons and to use sap for added crowd control. In PvP, stealth combined with burst damage gives an element of surprise that can be especially effective against cloth wearers. Stealth can be improved through talents, items, and enchantments, both to decrease the chance of being detected and to increase movement speed. Dual wield. A rogue starts off with a dual wielding skill. Dual wielding is a trade-off with an increased chance to miss with each weapon and reduce damage on the offhand, but it is a good ability for a rogue. A rogue cannot use a two-handed weapon, which have bigger stat buffs, cannot carry a shield, and has few good offhand choices. Offhand items tend to all have caster stats. A second-wielded weapon is the only way to reliably get 2 hands worth of rogue stat buffs. Poisons. Poisons generally either cause damage to the target, either instantly, or as damage over time, or cause other effects, slowing the target, removing the effectiveness of healing on the target, etc. Different weapons can have different poisons applied, and faster weapons cause the poison to proc more often. Poisons are a temporary weapon buff, and as such do not stack with other enhancements such as sharpening stones. All poisons have a timer of 1 hour. The poison timer is displayed on the weapon's properties when you mouse over the weapon. Applying poison will not break stealth or shadow meld. A variety of talents in the assassination specialization enhance the use of poisons. The Alliance's poison quest could be obtained at level 20 in Westfall from Agent Kernan called Claven's Tower. If you dropped by S17 in Stormwind, Master Matthias would send you to Kernan when the time was right by giving you the Matthias and the Defias quest. The Horde's version was in Orgrimmar from Shinthal called Deep Cover, that sent you to the Barrens to talk to Taskmaster Fazul for a quest called Mission Possible but Not Probable. The poison skills allowed the rogue to use poisons that could then be applied to their weapons. Prior to patch 3.0.2 and Wrath of the Lich King, the ability to brew poisons from ingredients was a secondary skill, similar to cooking or first aid, but available only to rogues. As of the 3.0.2 patch and Wrath of the Lich King, the poison skill is no longer available in the game. Lockpicking. Rogues have the ability to pick locks. This allows them to open locked chests, lockboxes, and doors, depending on the rogue's skill in lockpicking and the level of the locked object. Lockboxes can be pickpocketed from mobs or found as loot. Rogues no longer are required to train locking picking skill. It is now passive, granting higher skill as you level at a rate of +5 per level. Some high-level dungeons, like the Arcatraz in Tempest Keep or the Shattered Halls in Hellfire Citadel, can be opened by a rogue with a skill level of 350 in lockpicking. This can be a real time saver for a group, since the alternative to picking the locks to these dungeons is to complete several long quest chains resulting in a key reward. Suggested professions: leatherworking and skinning are always a good choice. This is due to Master of Anatomy, which raises your critical strike rating in accordance with your skinning skill level, which can be very useful to rogues. The items crafted tend to be better than other items you can loot at the same level. This is a very balanced profession choice for performance and money. Herbalism and alchemy are a viable option. Alchemy allows the rogue to manufacture powerful potions, elixirs, and flasks. Alchemy also opens up the ability to craft an Assassin's Alchemist Stone, which adds a decent amount of attack power in addition to the 40% bonus to healing potions. As well as the above item, at Alchemy level 500 rogues can craft Quicksilver Alchemist Stone. Note that this profession is not only beneficial to the rogue in performance, it can be an excellent money maker. Mixology doubles the duration of elixirs and flasks for the alchemist who learns the skill. This is beneficial in a raid situation, and also increases the length that flasks generated by a guild cauldron last. Herbalism is also a very good way to obtain swift thistle, which is needed to make thistle tea. Herbalism also grants the ability of lifeblood. Engineering is arguably the best and most fun profession for a rogue, with mining being the most beneficial complementary profession. It allows for a very distinct edge in combat. The items tend to be a bit expensive at times, however. There are a few engineering items that require components crafted by other professions, from blacksmiths to tailors to alchemists. Picking up mining with engineering will save you a lot of money, however. Be prepared to spend a solid amount of gold on vendor-only parts. Jewel crafting is a very good profession for a rogue. With it, rogues have access to crafted rings and necklaces, stone statues, an extra self-heal that works in combat, a diverse array of bop trinkets, some of which enhance rogue special abilities, and the ability to cut gems for sockets for high-level gear. Enchanting is a very profitable profession, if you know how to use it. As a rogue, it's possible to solo run some lower-level dungeons and head straight for the boss, then disenchant their loot. At level 70 Sholomance, Blackrock Depths, UBRS, Dire Maul, and even Strathome are very doable and most certainly profitable. Enchanting provides no utility or combat usage for PvP or PvE whatsoever other than the self-only invaluable ring enchants. Inscription is easy to learn, quick to level, and can be very profitable. It utilizes pigments from Milderbs and allows rogues to make glyphs for themselves and others. One notable benefit of Inscription is the ability to craft and apply Master's Inscription of the axe to your shoulders once you reach Inscription level 400. Herbalism complements this profession. Inscription, much like enchanting, is mainly picked up for money by making cards and glyphs for others. It is quite appealing to the rogue who doesn't want any extra combat utility that other professions could offer. Blacksmithing is a viable choice for rogues looking to min/max as much as possible. At the blacksmithing skill of 400, you can use socket gloves and socket bracer to add an extra socket to your gloves and bracers respectively. There are a variety of rogue-friendly weapons that can be crafted, including Corroded Saronite Edge, Corroded Saronite Woundbringer, Titan Steel Bone Crusher, and Titan Steel Shanker. As leveling blacksmithing to its highest is an expensive and time-consuming task, you may be better served to level mining and ask someone else to make the Titan Steel items for you. Finally, blacksmiths can make Eternal Belt Buckle for themselves and others. Endgame expectations. Your main priority in raiding is maximizing melee DPS while staying alive. Put your threat-reducing abilities, namely Feint, Vanish, and Tricks of the Trade, to good use, and use them before you gain aggro.
As with all melee DPS classes, rogues are expected to come to raids with ample supplies of flasks, potions, food, and bandages. Depending on the particular situation, rogues may not get many heals. If that's the case, rogues should be prepared to heal themselves. Rogues are utilized as interrupters with some bosses such as Kulthuzad and General Vasok, and can be asked to dismantle in instances, like Onyxia's lair.